This episode is brought to you by Americas Rehab Campus. Get on the road to recovery with the best rehab in beautiful Arizona. Dial 1-833-272-7342. That's 1-833-ARC-REHAB.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the Archers.
Good morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Arcast. My name is Buddha. We are back once again. It's been a beautiful last couple of days. Been having so many people coming in, sharing their testimony. And today, he came highly regarded from our friend Kim. Shout out to Kim. He is an alumni here. He's doing fantastic. He said he wanted to come and share his testimony, so we brought him in the studio. We are very happy to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge round of applause to our homeboy, Ryan Adair. Yeah, see? We got it all set up, brother. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, man. Thank you, Buddha. Appreciate it.
So you were telling me, first of all, bro, you look good, man. It's good to see you. How much time you got now?
I have 380 days today.
380 days. Congratulations. You were telling me that a little bit about what you do for a living. What do you do?
I'm a tattoo artist.
Tattoo artist? You said that you had gone to the tattoo expo. How did that go?
It was busy.
It was busy?
Like, nonstop tattooing, going through the whole 3 days. Saw a lot of competing. Did some good work. Did about 5 tattoos, some good sized tattoos and pieces while I was there. Met some good people.
That's dope, dude.
Saw the award ceremony. That was pretty rad. It was cool.
How long have you been doing that?
So I've been tattooing on and off for the last 15 years and started really taking it as like in a step as a career over the last 4 years.
And are you from Tucson? Is that where you're born?
No, I'm from Santa Cruz, California.
Santa Cruz, California. All right, man. Well, typical fashion of the Arcast is we go into, we talk about everything from where you started at to where you're at now. So you said you're from California. Were you raised out there for a long time?
Yeah, most of my life I grew up out in the Bay Area, bounced around quite a bit from there. I did live in Tucson for about a year of my life when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
Had some family out here. My mom, that's how I ended up out here again. Some family lived out here, moved back to get away, kind of like the geographic type of thing.
Yeah.
But I stayed, family moved away, and here's home now.
Oh, okay. So you were in Cali for a while. Tell me a little bit about growing up. Did you have any siblings? Were you an only child?
I'm the oldest out of four siblings.
Four siblings. Yeah. And your mother and father, were they together growing up?
No, my parents divorced when I was, I'd say, about 1 year old.
Okay.
And, my father passed away, and I grew up with my mom, and eventually stepdad came into life, into our lives. Family divorced pretty early on.
And was there a history, growing up that you saw where there was substance abuse in your family?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people?
Definitely from my dad's side,
Okay.
Never have seen my mom drink or anything like that, but a lot of partying and alcoholism from my father's side. Grew up around, bonfires and, keggers and, it was...
Yeah.
It was the early 90s, so it was like a bunch of bikers and keggers and parties and that type of stuff,
Okay. And not to get too personal, but was that one of the reasons why your pops had passed away? Was due to substance or anything like that? Or was it completely separate?
It was substance related.
Was substance related?
Yeah, definitely.
And growing up out there, how were you in school, dude?
I would say I was the class clown.
Yeah.
I was outgoing. I was always messing around, and it was hard for me to focus. I think I did pretty well in school, but peer pressure and trying to be the cool kid a lot fell on me. And, definitely through high school, I struggled, started using, drinking and smoking weed early on, pretty young.
Yeah. Well, what age?
I'd say, so the first time I experienced really alcohol was at 5 years old. And I stole a couple beers from my buddy's dad, and we were trying to split them. And it did, change how I felt, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Where my friend was like, F this, I'm not cool with this. I can't play PlayStation anymore, but I loved it. And I feel like I sought that throughout most of my life through TV candy and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
But 12 years old, I started smoking and drinking pretty regularly as like a, seeking it out, stealing bottles and things like that. Like,
wow.
So.
And like you said, it was just something that you enjoyed. It wasn't necessarily, and I don't know, we can probably go into this a little bit later, but it doesn't seem like it was necessarily tied to any type of trauma or anything like that. It was just something that your body, it just did not, what do they say is like you have an allergy to the alcohol, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel I have definitely a personality that's, drawn to addiction. I get addicted to things.
Yeah.
Whether it's skateboarding, motorcycles, drawing, drugs, like I have an addictive personality. I would say that I grew up with some trauma, my father's death, he passed away from a high-speed chase,
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, that coupled with like growing up around the parties and, definitely hearing family members like blame the police caused an authoritarian fear in me where I lashed out towards teachers and peers, coaches, my parent, like it was a struggle. Like anytime I'd get stopped by the police, it was like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm doing, leave me alone. And they were like, dude, we're just going to give you a little warning and let you go, but you're spitting at us and trying to fight us. You're not going anywhere now,
Yeah.
But that there was a different type of trauma, It's like not so much like the sexual abuse type of stuff or something, which I'm not disregarding as being.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure the loss of your father not being there too, I mean, for a young man, somebody who's growing up, you're having these personality traits. It's weird because you see these personality traits that your mom doesn't have. Right. You're like, I must have got this from him. You know what I mean? And not having a way to be able to reach out and speak to him, I'm sure that all plays a part.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said 12 years old is when you started initially like experimenting with like weed, things like that. Did you end up graduating from school?
I did not. I did not graduate from high school in the sense we're walking by and getting a certificate or anything. I did get the GED.
Okay.
But it was a long process for me. Early on I started, going through incarceration very young.
Really?
Juvenile hall to boys camps and stuff like that early on. I was a purebred knucklehead, I'd say, like that authoritarian fear that I say I had was very prevalent in my life.
Yeah.
So I started becoming kind of institutionalized and meeting people from there. And most of my time as a youngster I was very angry, fighting with stepdad, stealing money from people, just being a little cat burglar, kind of a piece of crap a little bit, I'm not going to lie. And, I got put in places where I didn't really have my family around. And I was raised like I was shown to grow up by other people, other men where they were trying to discipline me and like get me to act right.
It's so hard.
It didn't catch on really quick. Like I had this deep rooted like fear of authoritarian people. Like, and so, it came out in like the anger symptom,
you were not flight, you were fight.
Yes. Yeah. So it like progressed.
Yeah.
It definitely progressed. It didn't let up through juvenile hall and stuff like that. It definitely progressed further and further into adulthood and prison and stuff like that. It was a slow learner, bro.
Okay. Hey, man, isn't it? You know what, though? The thing about being a hardhead that I've learned is once you do finally learn your lesson, though, bro, that's like the greatest thing in the world because there ain't no going back from that shit. You know what I mean? Right. It's weird that we have to get to that point and constantly get knocked on our ass and constantly have to get put in these positions where we're having to relearn these lessons over and over again. But at the end, man, I mean, we become more solid because of it.
For sure.
So around that time when high school was supposed to be finishing and stuff, how were you as far as like, were you working? Were you holding a job, living on your own, anything like that?
So my family owned a pool business, and so I started working pretty early on and, it was kind of like, well, this is the family business. So you're getting out there and working. I'm not paying you. This is what we have to do. Carry PVC pipe and things like that. So I was like itching to make money and kind of goofing off in school. And like, I think like the drive to like get out of my family's house, get away from my mom. Like I mentioned, she wasn't an alcoholic or a drinker or anything like that. I've rarely seen her drink, but like she was a very good mother, but very strict, and I was trying to hurry and get that GD and hurry and get the hell out of there, you know? And it was kind of like a forced exit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like eventually near the end, it was like, you're done, get out of here, And so, quickly I moved out around 16 years old. I was moving out and living with my aunt or friends' parents and stuff. And started working and just, ran with it,
Yeah. And like you said, the authoritarian, your mom was trying to control you the best way that she could. But of course, it's like you're fighting every step of the way.
It, man.
That's kids, bro. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So how long did that continue, bro? Just kind of bouncing around, things like that. I can't remember. Did you say that you did have a job? Were you working at all? Other than the pool business?
Yeah, other than the pool business, not really. I mean, I started doing tattoos around that time.
Oh, okay.
So like kind of a little side thing I did out of people's bedrooms and stuff like that was what I was doing. I really started to like linger around tattoo parlors to learn. I'm a tall guy, kind of had a deeper voice as a kid, and like I was able to kind of sneak into there, like paint, act like I was 18, but I was sitting there kind of scoping out what people were doing, and that was always what I was drawn to do. It was something in art, Did
your drug use begin to increase at this time? Were you getting into heavier things?
Yeah, about 16, 17 years old, the methamphetamines was real big, ecstasy, cocaine, it was all there. It was like through the Thiz Nation type of times,
and you grew up in the Bay.
Right, grew up in the Bay Area, so it was like the raves, house parties with the ecstasy. It was just all there, and where one drug came, it was normally like many others followed. So
that's crazy. I remember there was a Thiz Latin that was going around that they tried to sign me to the record label back in the day. I didn't know anything about that, but that's interesting because I do remember that the ecstasy was really bad. There wasn't like that Molly type of shit yet, but I know there was like ecstasy. There were things like that. But I was like afraid, man. Like, did you not have a fear of trying different things at all?
I don't remember it being like that. Like, it was like more excitement. Like, what is this going to do? Like, I want to, I think it's going to make me a better artist, or somehow I'm going to hit some lucky little tab of something. And I'm just going to be the best there is.
Salvador Dali on the
right,
paintbrush.
You know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't have this fear. It was like, I sought it out because I thought that expansion of whatever it was going to bring me out of that, like, hurt little child, lost his dad, hates the cops kid, and like make me more of a peaceful person or something. There were some scary times, I'd say, with some of the drugs where like I got the uh-ohs, like, oh shit, like my heart's rate really bad. Like I'm seeing like black dots and stuff. And it was like, I can't really do it that hard anymore. You know, definitely felt those times.
Scary.
With the ecstasy, especially. I remember those times around that age group where it was like, this is no longer fun. I'm kind of doing a little bit too much, and it was kind of scary at times.
Yeah. But
I like kind of had a lot of reservations to seek out after weed. I was like in love with it and sought out all of those other things, acid and everything. It kind of opened the doors.
And I know you were kind of, like you said, emancipated. You were on your own doing your thing at this time. Did you have a relationship with your mom at all? Or were you just kind of like at a distance so she didn't know what you were doing?
Around this time, it was very distant, spent a lot of time with family, friends, and my aunt at that time. My aunt is from my father's side. Definitely alcoholic. She's clean today, clean and sober today, but we did a lot of drinking together, a lot of partying together.
Yeah.
And I just spent a lot of time out there in the woods in Santa Cruz Mountains,
man, and
did my fucking thing, Wow. And eventually me and my mom hashed that out, became closer again. But it was definitely a process,
After this, like after like the pool business and things like that with the tattooing, was there ever a moment? Can you take us back to that moment where you finally realized like your drug use was becoming a hindrance, like you couldn't control it anymore?
So it didn't happen just yet. Like I still thought I had it under control. Yeah. Looking back, like those thoughts never came to me. I always thought I had it under control. And I was trying to control it. And that's the problem. That's when I realized, like, I looking back now in hindsight, like there's definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Normal people aren't trying to like control it, but I'm trying to smoke crack on Tuesday morning and it's a problem, like I'm missing work. I'm not doing that, so it's like, I just, It didn't happen just yet, not around that time. Fast forwarding up a little bit to 21 age, I started to realize it then. Been to prison by that time. Went to prison when I was like 19 years old.
Wow.
And was headed back again at 21 and was like, man, this is a problem. Like I'm powerless.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, like the whole smoking crack on Tuesday morning before work, and I'm rushing around like about to miss work because I can't get it. I'm just unable to get there. I remember those thoughts being like, I have a problem, dude.
That's crazy.
Like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I know I'm on probation. I'm on parole. I'm going to get caught. Like, I can't fake this.
Yeah. You said your heart was racing. You were using like the crack, things like that. Were opiates ever a part of your testimony?
Later on.
Yeah.
So later on in life, kind of, if I speed up till about 30, moving out here to Tucson, that's when that kind of picked up.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. What was it that brought you out here?
So I was living in California, and I had a girlfriend that we were just using together. It was not going anywhere. There was a failing relationship, and I was sober for a while. I had probably like 2 years clean and sober, and I had a little relapse. I slipped up, but IV use became part of my life story. And
wow.
I reached out to my mom like, hey, I know I got a problem. I've been doing this again. And, she knew where I was. I was staying with a friend. Me and the girl kind of split for a little bit. And, I was like, I don't want to go back to prison. I know where this leads me. Doing IV drugs always leads to a dead end for me, always.
Yeah.
And, my mom kind of snuck up out there, and came in. That's the mother's love, man.
Yeah.
My mom drove from Tucson all the way to the Bay Area, picked me up. I was actually in Sacramento at the time. It was even further than the Bay Area. It was in Sacramento, Northern California. My mom drove up there, picked me up, and brought me back here. It was just like, we're going. Get out of here. Leave it alone. And I was ready. I was like, I'm done, And that was almost 8 years ago now.
So damn, dude. And that's something that I like to point out, because this to me, it says for whatever higher power you believe in, not trying to force this on anyone, but in the book, the Bible, it talks about how we're not fighting battle of flesh and blood. We're fighting battles of the spirits, right. And the evil forces. So the fact that you said that you were sober for 2 years, but then you get into this relationship with this girl,
right.
Isn't it weird how when you're doing good, there's always somebody who gets sent to you, whether it's like a female or a situation or something that's going to make you relapse.
Yeah.
And when you had that 2 years, did you get that on your own, or were you at a treatment facility out there?
So it's been a while. Let me try and remember. I know that I had a sponsor. His name was Mark, and he's still with us, so I'm not going to drop the anonymity bomb, but really great dude. I still talk to him today. We're still, he's no longer my sponsor, but we still stay friends and chat. But a lot of it was working with him.
Oh, good.
I think I did a little bit of gained maybe some time. I think I was living in a halfway house for a majority of it. And then I got out and met the girl, moved out with her, and was still kind of white knuckling it,
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I had she went out first, and eventually I followed, and then it progressed really quickly. I really sought out how I choose to use things, and it wasn't just her or just me that ruined it. It was obviously the substances that came a part of it, that really put the wedge in between us. But yeah, there's definitely always a test.
Yes, sir.
It's always there.
I agree. So your mom, man, shout out to your mom. Shout out to my mom, because a mother's love, bro, that is the most special thing in the world. You know what I mean? And I
agree.
And it's funny how kids go through these phases with their parents, right? Where you're like a cadet and a drill sergeant, and then it's like when you're older and you just see the sacrifice that they've done and the amazing things that they've done. Love is unconditional. So she went up there, Sacramento picked you up.
Right. And it brought me out here,
man.
Did the whole geographic, and I was like, I'm ready. Threw the syringes down, came out here, a little bit dragging my heels, pretty much pissed my mom off, because every time we pulled over for gas, I was drinking some Jack Daniel's shooters. Yeah. I was smoking a joint or whatever, and super embarrassing looking back. But, eventually came out here, got into a halfway house, didn't live with my mom I stayed with her for maybe a week, and then I was like, I need to get into a halfway house. I want to start getting a job out here, getting myself planted out here.
Yeah.
And I was on the drive out here. I was like, I'm going to stop being a fuck up, and I'm going to do something with my tattoo art. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something good. And I came out here with every intention to do that, but we bring our shadow, man. Like I brought all,
that's deep.
You know what I mean? I was half-assed in my step work with my sponsor. I was rim running the meetings. I was getting in relationships with people in the room. So I wasn't really focused. And when I came out here, I brought all of my defects of character and all my disease still with me in a little trash bag on my back. And then, I came out here and my intentions were good, but the spirituality was not in my life at that time yet. I still wasn't ready, So that's where the opiates is very prevalent out here.
Yeah.
And so it progressed. Of course, the black tar heroin and eventually fentanyl, dipping and dabbing with that stuff. But, I had to go through treatment out here. Lost jobs, tattooing, trying to get that going, bounced around from different shops, had little glorious times, and then I would wreck it all because of a bad choice.
Wow. And I know one of the things that you said that I want to talk about a little bit was you said that you didn't have any type of faith or anything. Growing up, was that a part of your life? Like, was your mom, did she introduce that to you?
So, I didn't really grow up around a religious household.
Yeah.
It was never pressed on us as children. We went to, church a handful of times, and it was usually on Christmas Eve, and it didn't really catch my feeling. I wasn't really drawn to it as much. So I didn't really have that higher power in my life for a lot of my life. It's sort of it is a new concept for me.
That's cool.
It is something that I really had to focus on while doing treatment out here in Tucson was step 2 and 3.
Wow.
And that was discovering that HP, getting that spirituality, and a long time that took me out of rooms, because if hearing the God word or religion or something, I would shut down. And now it's not the case. I listen for the similarities. A lot of religious people are right in ways,
Yeah.
I don't seek out differences, and I'm okay with addressing my higher power as God today. And I definitely have a lot of faith that there is something unseen,
yes, sir,
in control of my life today.
And, for all the listeners, because I know we have some people that are not in recovery and don't know don't really understand when people are talking about the steps. So I'm going to just read step 2 and step 3. Step 2 says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And step 3 is made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of understanding of what my brother Ryan means when he's saying that. So, man, you came down here and you said you had those little moments of glory, right? And then you were introduced to the opiates. I'm guessing that's where the story gets to probably the worst part is once that entered into your life.
Right.
How many years did you use opiates for, bro?
I would say about 3 years.
About 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And what ended up happening when you decided to come here to ARC or wherever? Is this where you got clean? Was it ARC here?
I went through the ARC.
Okay.
I did go out again, had a relapse.
Okay.
And then went through recovery in motion and have been just chugging along ever since.
Was there a situation or something that happened that switch when it finally flipped?
I think I just became desperate enough. I was sick and tired of my life being in shambles and not living up to what I knew my potential was, those glory moments I talk about. I started to find my niche, I started to find my way a little bit and people respected me. And then that overconfidence came in and I would go out, right? Thinking that, no, this time is going to be different. I'm only going to smoke crack on Tuesday nights now.
Yeah.
Right. And but I did have that moment, I think, when I started to find the higher power in my life.
Yeah.
and started to have a little humility in my life to where I was comfortable in setting boundaries with people in my life, because that was non-existent for a long time. I didn't respect people's boundaries, and I had no boundaries that I thought I was worthy of having. And so people would trample me, and I would get hurt about it. A girl, relationship, or whatever, a job, or, this guy looked at me wrong, the way, I started to have boundaries in my life where I was able to draw a line and respect myself and respect others. And it started to make an aha moment then.
Okay. And man, and that's kind of fast forwarding to where we are now, doing good. You said you've had 380 days, right? Which is absolutely incredible, man. 380 days. How have things changed for you since, in this last year and some change, bro? Like, how are things changing for you?
So, I feel like one of the biggest changes has been just the respect and love back from family members. Like that is super important to me today. Like mom trusting me, asking me for my suggestions or advice, or just wanting conversation with me. I'm not no longer just a convict sitting in prison at some yard that, my family's like, I'm not writing you letters. Where you want to go in there and be in there, then that's on you. No money on the books, no visits. I had to learn that tough love,
Ooh, yeah.
And so today, like, I have my family around. They respect me, and that's huge for me, because I thought I had lost that.
Man,
I have people that count on me today, which is amazing. I was not dependable when I was in my disease. I was not a guy that was able to keep a job or anything like that, let alone shower on time, So it's like today, having people that want me around, count on me. Financially, I'm stable. I'm not rich or wealthy by any means, but I don't know how it happens. I just give it up to God, and my bills get paid. I show up to work every day, and I want to,
Yeah.
I have a sponsee, and I love working with him, and watching sometimes the light bulb flicker and come on is like amazing to me.
Yeah. That's cool, bro.
Yeah, man. I have a beautiful girlfriend. She has 2 boys, and being a part of their life and being kind of a role model, and helping out with that is awesome too. I've always wanted to be a parent, a dad, and I have that opportunity today, and it's because of being in recovery.
Amen.
Yeah.
You get to play that vital role, in somebody else's life. And that's incredible, man. Other than, the sponsing and stuff, what other things are you doing? Are you going to like meetings and stuff?
I go to meetings. I hold service commitments, any chance that there's something like this recovery podcast, or a commitment I need to, somebody asked me, hey, can you be there to chair this meeting, secretary of the meeting?
Yeah.
I'm there. Alkathons, I was there, I step up today for it. I'm not afraid of it. There was years where I resented being in the rooms of recovery, man. It was difficult. Like, why me? Pity me. Why am I like this?
Yeah.
And today it's like, I'm grateful, that I am here.
So what advice, Ryan, like let's say there's somebody listening, bro, and let's say that they want to come into a facility like this. Maybe they've even been to a facility like this, and they've been to the meetings, they've been to the groups, they've been, they've had the meetings with the therapist, all of that type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you would tell them to focus on? Like what were the things that changed from the moments when you were in the first treatment facility to that last time that you were here?
So I think, like, I've been to treatment twice, and the first time I feel like I was focused on outside things, trying to a girl or impress somebody, or just, I got this, I know, like, it's okay to remember that you don't know. I didn't know every answer. Yeah. And that's okay. I got clean to not be perfect. We get clean, but we're not perfect, So I had this perfectionism type of thing going on, and I was like, my homework's always done, but it was like pencil whipped, I would feel like a strong suggestion would just to be yourself, not focus on the girls or the guys, and not trying to be Mr. Perfect. Just listen, really take it in and get to know I had to get to know Ryan. I took some time to really get to know me because I didn't really know me. When it came down to it, I thought I did, but I really didn't. So, I mean, and put in the work. Like, it's not just a magical wand. Going through treatment's not always just going to be like a little wand tap on the forehead and you're cured. It takes some work.
Absolutely.
I really have to put in that footwork for it,
Man, that's awesome, bro. I really, honest to God, want to thank you for coming and sharing your testimony, bro. It's great to see you. I'm glad that you're doing good. And thank you for being so brave. Like you said, you came through, you didn't know what you were walking into, but you still, decided that you were going to still come over here, bro. And I really appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. And I hope and pray that whoever's listening to this, that this is speaking to somebody else. Like you said, let the HP speak through you, bro.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, please, man, give it up. Give a huge round of applause. Ryan Adair one more time. For all the listeners, anybody who's out there who wants to come through and share their testimony, if you know somebody who's got a very amazing testimony, anything revolving around mental health, anything that could help another person, you go to the show notes of this episode. You can email me directly on there and we can get you scheduled. If you guys got any positive affirmations, any love you want to share with my brother Ryan, I'm more than happy to give the message to him or whatever it may be. But until next time, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless y'all, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace. What's going on, everybody? This is Buddha from the Arcast, and I just wanted to thank you for checking out this week's episode. It means a lot, and if you could share it with a friend or a loved one, somebody you need in recovery, or maybe somebody who just needs that little bit of extra positivity in their life, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you would like to join us here on the Arcast, either in the studio live or online, hit us up. The links are down in the show notes of this episode, and on there, you can find direct links to our main website here at Americas Rehab Campus and all of our social media platforms. Follow us. We keep the posts positive and motivational, focused on recovery, health, and wellness. As you know, in this modern day and age, we need as much love as possible, y'all. And as always, if you or somebody you know is in need of substance abuse treatment, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're open 24 hours a day, and our direct phone number is 1-833-272-7342. Once again, that phone number is 1-833-272-7342. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. Much love and God bless. Peace.